Hi there. Welcome to the Teen Staycation YouTube series, brought to you by the Ottawa Public Library. My name is Jennifer, and today I'm going to show you how to do cactus rock painting. So here are some examples, and I went on the internet and I looked up different ways to paint cactuses, but if you have an idea yourself, you can also do that. Some have lines, some have little dots. The possibilities are endless. These make nice gifts or a nice decoration in your home. The items that you'll need for your cactus rock painting are an assortment of rocks in kind of an oval shape. These would make for the long cactuses. And then I also chose some little ones here, and that would be for your details. Some little tiny rocks. You can go on a search for different types. I would also suggest that you get a drop cloth, some sort of sheet that you can put down, keep your workstation nice and clean. Maybe a tin pie plate. That I find is good for putting paint or to let it dry so it doesn't stick to the surface. You'll need a hot glue gun, and that's more when you're gluing on the rocks and you're also gluing in your cactus, your pretend cactus, into the pot itself. You will need a terracotta pot. You'll need an assortment of paints, green for sure, but then maybe some white, some black, some yellow to add that different colors. You'll need for the little red flower there, you'll need some reds or pinks. And then I also got some paint pens. I found these at the dollar store and I thought they were great to make little details, especially these ones here, they dry very quickly. You will need some paintbrushes, and I would suggest getting some with fine tips and some with a little bit thicker tips, like that. Maybe a paper towel, clean your brushes, or a little pot, put water in, again to clean your brushes between your coats. You will also need little tiny rocks, like so, and those you'd put on the top there. So you can go on a hunt for little rocks. I was able to find some in my house, but also the dollar store carries those as well. And then you'll need some paper. And this you'll crunch up, I'll show you in the video, you'll crunch that up and you'll put it in your pot so that you can hold your pieces better. I started by painting the larger rocks various shades of green. It will get messy, so you may want to protect your work surface with an old cloth. For these rocks, I put on 2 coats of paint. For the smaller rocks, I painted one of them a light green. That will be for the arm of the cactus. The other smaller rock, I painted it a reddish pink. That one will be for the flower of the other cactus. Again, both of these smaller rocks were given 2 coats of paint. If the weather is warm, I would suggest putting the rocks outside to dry quicker. Once the rocks were dry, I painted stripes on the larger rocks. I painted different shades of green for both rocks. I painted on one side, and after it was dry, I painted on the other side. I did the same thing with the little rock for the arm of the cactus. You may find that it is starting to look like a watermelon or a cucumber, but as you add more details, it will start to look like a cactus. When the light green rocks were dry, I used the white paint pen to draw a line between the stripes. I also painted little X's on the lines. The paint pen dried very quickly, so I was able to paint both sides right away.
When the light green rocks were dry, I used the white paint pen to draw a line between the stripes. I also painted little X's on the lines. The paint pen dried very quickly, so I was able to paint both sides right away. After the red rock was dry, I used the paint pens to add the details. I started with the yellow paint pen for the dots on the flower, and then I used the white paint pen for the lines. You could also use the end of a paintbrush to add dots or lines. Once everything was dry, I used a multi-purpose sealer to give the rocks a shimmering look and to protect them from losing their colors. You may also want to use a clean pie plate to place the pieces on as they dry. Placing them outside will help them to dry quicker. When the pieces were ready to be assembled, I started by crunching up a piece of paper and placing it in the terracotta pot. I then took the larger rocks and tried to figure out where they would be placed in the pot. Once I was happy with the configuration, I hot glued the larger rocks to the paper and to the sides of the pot. I also hot glued the arm of the cactus and the red flower to the larger rocks. Once the smaller pieces were glued on well, I hot glued the little stones into the pot to keep everything in place. In addition to the cactus rock painting that you can do, you can also paint some rocks. So here are some examples. This one I painted purple, and then I used a pencil to write the word love, as well as the details of the hearts. And then I went over it with various permanent markers, various colors. And then I also used my paint pen to add details. And this one I painted yellow, wrote the word inspire, painted on some flowers, again using a pencil, and then permanent markers and paint pens to add that extra details. I finished off both of them with a multi-purpose sealant. Enjoy!